Entering the Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 14, Sunday, live. Brad Evans will be joining me in a minute. The question and answer period starts at 10:35 a.m. Eastern Time. And remember, we can go into overtime on the question and answer period if you smash the like button. We get to 500 likes, we go an extra 5 minutes. We get to 1,000 likes, we get to 15 minutes of bonus time. Remember to subscribe to the channel as well. That way your vote counts as 2, or your like counts as 2 for everything. We're trying to get to push to 20,000 subs by the end of 2020. So if you could subscribe right now, that would help out immensely. I'm going to continue to call for action on this one. You want to find the rankings to get your question answered right away? Description of this video. All the links are in there. You can also find my cheat sheet and my pivot plays up on ftndaily.com. And again, if you want to get the optimizer, the ownership projections, everything you need to go to ftndaily.com. Use code MAYO. It's highly discounted at the moment, so you might as well get another discount on top of that. Treat yourself for Christmas time. The big two things of the morning since I last spoke to everyone on Friday evening after the injury report came out is this emerging Brandin Cooks situation that is happening right now. Ian Rappaport has reported that Brandin Cooks will not play. This was after Adam Schefter reported last or like at 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that, that he is going to play. We're waiting for Schefter to confirm whether he is in or out at the moment. Because, we trust Schefter over Rappaport. Not to say that Ian Rappaport is a bad guy or not, but Schefter, he usually nails his stuff. Brad, are you on the line right now?
I am. And you definitely 10,000% always side with Schefter over Rappaport when it comes to injury news notes or just about anything, even cooking tips. I always side with Adam Schefter.
All right. So what are we doing here? Do we believe that he's going to be out?
I flip a coin. I have no idea. Obviously a guy that was dinged last week. There was worries that he had, suffered a concussion. He was cleared, re-entered the game. I think it's, obviously a tenuous situation at best right now. And if he is indeed out, my Lord, have mercy. Kiki Kuti is going to see a massive target share. And I'm going to tell you one other person, people are talking like Chad Hansen. Maybe is a guy that could, step in and fill this massive void. But I think Jordan Akins and Duke Johnson both really see an uptick in overall target share as, a pass catching back in the case of Duke. And Jordan Akins, a guy that should have a big game anyway because the Chicago Bears have allowed the most receptions and yards to the tight end position this season. So, obviously something to monitor here. I'm not downgrading Deshaun Watson because of his scoring duality. And the other thing we got to keep in mind is this, Mayo. The Bears have quit on Chuck Pagano and Matt Nagy defensively, especially in the secondary. Kyle Fuller and company, they're not even trying anymore these last couple of weeks. They're going through the motions. They're out of it. They're probably going to lose out this season. They're going to lose this game today. So my estimation here, again, if Cooks is out, Jordan Akins, nice little surge in overall fantasy value. Chad Hansen, if you're absolutely desperate, say if you're like in an 18-teamer like I play in or a 20-teamer, maybe you pick him up and plug him in at a flex or wide receiver 3 position, then it's going to be a lot of Kiki Kuti, who, of course, hit the century mark last week.
So we'll get to the props a bit later on. I have some pretty scummy props this week, and I know you're going to have your favorite 5. But the other bit of news that I didn't get to touch on because it happened on a Saturday, Myles Gaskin no longer playing against the Chiefs this week for the Dolphins. Salvon Ahmed out, Matt Breida out. That leaves Lynn Bowden, Patrick Laird, Malcolm Perry, and DeAndre Washington. I am guessing it's going to be DeAndre Washington. At least he's the first man who's going to see the field. If there's a goal line touch, I'm assuming that he's going to get it. Although the Dolphins only run 2 plays at the goal line. It's run up the gut into everyone for no yards or ridiculous fade to the corner of the end zone.
Yes. Yeah, that's accurate on both accounts there. And, of course, Jordan Howard, no longer part of this franchise, who is the beneficiary of the 1 yard and fall forward, praying that the ball breaks the plane for 6. But you're right. It's going to be DeAndre Washington as the primary option here. Now, he was limited by a hamstring injury in practice, throughout the entire week, but was able to get in, I think, close to a full session on Friday. So he should be good to go you can run on Kansas City. I think really the prevailing question here is, can the Miami Dolphins actually be competitive in this game? Now, if you look at the odds makers, it's at 7.5 on the line. But, I mean, Kansas City has given a middle finger to all the odds makers out there on a week in, week out basis. If you side, and the public certainly has, with Patrick Mahomes, you're rolling in the dough for much of this season because they've been covering machines no matter how big or small the spread is. So, that's my worry. Washington could be script agnostic. He can not catch the ball. He was a fantasy playoff hero last year as a member of the Raiders in week 16 and 17. But truth be told, Mayo, I'm actually playing him because I lost Julio Jones, I lost David Johnson, and it's a multi-flex 16-team league. So I have him in one of those flex positions, DeAndre Washington. But that's kind of the mindset here, folks. If you're in a 10-teamer, a 12-teamer, he's a flex at best, but hopefully you got better options. If you don't, then, well, you're probably going to exit stage left in round 1.
Well, let's say you have Josh Jacobs, who is returning, apparently, with this ankle injury. He has been brutal ever since he's been on the injury report at any time this season. The weeks that he's not been on the injury report, he's been fantastic. Any time that he has appeared on the injury report, he's been horrendous. And this seems to be a situation where he's probably not going to play the full complement of snaps, I'm guessing at least. Would you play DeAndre Washington or Josh Jacobs in your first round of the fantasy playoffs?
On the surface, somebody asked me this question on Twitter earlier today, and I went with Jacobs. But the more that I kind of, I start going through the motions and thinking about it, Indianapolis has not been the same these last couple of weeks because they've had myriad injuries in the linebacker core and up front. A lot of those guys are coming back this week. So, this is going to be a far more rigid, robust, more, wooden front than we've seen previously from the Colts here these, again, last couple of games. And you got to worry about Devontae. You know what? Screw it. You know what? Fuck it, Mayo. We're going DeAndre Washington.
See, that's what I like. That's what I have in my rankings right now. I have DeAndre Washington at number 24, Josh Jacobs at number 25. I wouldn't be, at least give me the guy who appears at least to be relatively healthy. And I do think it's a really nice situation for him in the receiving game here, as long as Lynn Bowden doesn't end up becoming the check down guy, or they pass to Laird or Perry. If Washington's going to be on the field, he's going to see his fair share of targets. And we know that's just not in the repertoire for Josh Jacobs.
No, you're exactly right there. He's going to be limited in that capacity. That's where Booker's going to come in. Booker could spell him at the goal line. It's just a matter of effectiveness and sustainable effectiveness. And Josh Jacobs may not possess that gene this week. So what we do know about DeAndre Washington is he's going to get the early down work. I think it's going to be a minimum of 13 to 14 touches. And as I mentioned before, if this script does get out of control, maybe going to get a little bit more Lynn Bowden Jr. But DeAndre can certainly catch the ball in the backfield. He's been very impactful in that area of the game when given opportunities previously.
So Christian McCaffrey is not going to play. It looks like Justin Jackson's going to come back for the Los Angeles Chargers. Zeke, Jacobs, Connor, Drake, Frank Gore, and DeAndre Swift are all going to be in. I've had a tough decision to make on DraftKings this week. I have your guy, Mandatory Montgomery. He's $6,500. DeAndre Swift also $6,500. Now, I've sided with Swift in my lineups this week, mainly because I have, per the FTN daily ownership projections, got David Montgomery somewhere around 21% ownership, DeAndre Swift somewhere around 2% ownership. And the way that I like to play these things is, just kind of take a percentage of that. Is David Montgomery 9 times as likely to outscore DeAndre Swift on this slate? I'm going to say no to that answer, just straight up. That I think that DeAndre Swift is better than David Montgomery. Now, obviously, with the way that Montgomery is being used and us not knowing how Swift will be used with a new head coach returning from missing 2 games, that I get why everyone wants to play Montgomery. I think objectively, if this was a cash game, I would play David Montgomery. But I'm talking about tournaments here. I like DeAndre Swift in this matchup. I think it really points to him being good this week.
If we know for a fact,
we don't know, but we don't know. It takes some guts.
But we don't know.
I thought you had guts.
It does. I do, but I'm also a very sensible human being, and he already mentioned my boy Dave Montgomery, so I'm fawning over him clearly. I'm thinking about, fantasies of bumping into him underneath some mistletoe and me slipping the tongue, Mayo. Maybe a little grabby grab on the backside. Look, I love me some Mandatory Montgomery this week. Is it 9 times more likely he's going to outplay DeAndre Swift? No, it's not. That's absurd. Patently absurd. Is he 3 times more likely? Yeah, I could buy that. Because we know that the guaranteed volume is going to be there. We know that the matchup is splendid, as the Houston Texans have allowed the second most fantasy points over 139 rush yards per game of the running back position and 17 total TDs they've given up just to RBs. So I think mandatory is going to get to the century mark in terms of total yardage. I think he's going to find the end zone at least one time a day. Sure, you're going to get some smatterings of Cordero Patterson in there, but he's locked into at least 15 to 18 touches. I cannot say the same about DeAndre Swift. This is a traumatic brain injury that he suffered neurologically. Is he right? We heard about the sluggishness from Adrian Peterson, the coaching staff, a couple of weeks ago. He's a month removed from this concussion, but I think this coaching staff is going to play it slowly, play it easy with him, and not really, utilize him into his fullest capacity. I don't think he's going to get 15 touches. I think he's going to be maybe in the 10 to 12 range. That might be enough to justify your point because it's Green Bay. And they've been Limburger cheese in terms of, how rancid they've been in the trenches this season. And this game's got a lot of shootout appeal. But I just have trust factors. So, yes, am I hashtag team raisins on this? More so than team huevos? Absolutely, just because of the unknowns tied to Swift and his actual health between the years.
So I have an article up on ftndaily.com right now. You can go check it out. It's the pivot plays, and I do like DeAndre Swift in this situation. It's not to say use 100% DeAndre Swift and use no David Montgomery, but that all really depends on how many lineups you play. I'm only running out 4 lineups this week. I don't have Montgomery. That's a stance that I have to take. If he falters in this game, I box out 20% of the field right off the hop. It's just like using the Trubisky passing stack with Kmet and Allen Robinson. If that hits, that almost assuredly means that David Montgomery is not doing anything. So you go up and everyone else goes down. That's sort of the situation that I want to be in, thinking through it game theory wise. Very unlikely to happen because it's Mitch Trubisky. It's not even playing the Lions, so Lord knows how he's going to do. But that was my initial take on that situation. The other big DraftKings decision I think that people have to make this week, J.D. McKissic, we have projected, Kyle at least has projected, at 21% ownership. He's $4,900. Everyone likes J.D. McKissic. And again, almost like David Montgomery, I think it's a very solid floor play. Like in cash games, that makes a lot of sense to me. But I really wonder what his upside is. So that gives you 2 options that you can go to if you still want to pay down at receiver and save that salary and stay in this range. You have Giovanni Bernard at $5,000 and then Duke Johnson, who you mentioned, at $4,900. I still like Gio Bernard against Dallas here, and it doesn't seem like anyone wants to play him.
No, I think that's a great call. I think that's a great pivot play. I mean, it's the Cowboys, and they're just throwing cow chips all over the field this season when it comes to defending the run. And I know, Gio's been, ineffective here these last 3-4 games, but he's still the primary running back. He's still going to get probably at least 13 to 15 touches in this game. It should be a hotly contested contest from start to finish. A lot of shootout appeal here. He's script agnostic. And again, it's the freaking Cowboys. What else do you need? They're the worst, one of the worst run defenses in the league. They're not as generous as, say, the Lions or the aforementioned Texans, but they're dreadful. So, yeah, look, I think Gio is a great call. He's a low-dollar option. They're on the classic DraftKings slate. And, I think the upside here is probably, 70 to 80 total yards and a touchdown. And I think that's very attainable. So, yeah, I think that's a great call.
Well, one big thing that you have to take in consideration here, too, is that he is script agnostic, although Brandon Allen tends to not check down to Gio, so that's not great. But if you just go look at who Cincinnati has played, basically since Joe Mixon has been out, it has been a murderer's row of run defenses. And the Bengals have been massive underdogs in all of these games. This is a field goal spread against Dallas right now. This is the best matchup he is going to have for the rest of the season. So if there ever was a time to play Gio, now is that time, especially with T. Higgins banged up.
Yeah, T. Higgins expected to go at least. And I do like T. Higgins quite a bit, even at, whatever percentage he's at, whether 60, 70, 75% capacity. But yeah, look, these are all supportive reasons. Gio Bernard, if you look at a lot of the prognosticators and the projections that are out there, those services, the overall outlook is suppressed because of the recency bias. But, this is something you and I constantly preach. You got to maximize matchups, and especially guys that are this dirt cheap. And Bernard has proven, that he can take advantage of an exploitable opponent. So I think this is, exhibit A in that court case, in that room of justifying why you need to play him this week. I'm playing him in a 14-team playoff format as my RB2, and quite confidently. So, I think Joe Bernard could surprise this week, and somebody that should be at least in your flex, I think, right now in the classic slate there for DraftKings if you're looking to make some cash monies.
Well, the other one, too, is, if we go back to DeAndre Washington from a DraftKings perspective, he's the min. He's $4,000. And generally, when something like this happens, that player gets out of control ownership. That ends up propping up to like 15%, 20%, 25%. But since Devontae Booker busted, Brian Hill busted in this exact same spot the past few weeks, it seems like people are now a bit pensive to play DeAndre Washington. I'm fine with it. At like $4,000 as a running back, this allows me to pay up for Derrick Henry and Devontae Adams. Fine. I'm all on board for that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you there. That's kind of the beauty of it. Sometimes you got to zig where others zag. And maybe if Miami can be competitive in this game, right? And that's the key here. That's all it is. And certainly the odds makers believe that's going to be the case. I am hesitant to go all in on that narrative. But if they are competitive in this game, like I said, he's going to get probably 13, 14, maybe 15 touches. You got a decent chance of him finding the end zone. Kansas City's vulnerability is defending the run. And it aligns. It makes sense. Another one that really makes sense to me real quick here, Mayo, that I kind of want to pivot to, if you were looking for a hidden gem, somebody that's going to have a low rostership right now in DraftKings, it's Jamal Williams. The Green Bay Packers. We're talking about DeAndre Swift in that game. Jamal Williams could do some hellified damage on 10 to 12 touches today. Now, I understand this is Aaron Jones' primary backfield, but Jamal Williams is seen right around 40% of the opportunity share. He's playing on 54% of the team's snaps. The player props that I've seen on Jamal Williams are an absolute punchline, absolute joke. I'm going to get to that a little bit later on, foreshadow, in my Fade 5. But I think Jamal Williams could have himself quite a nice day as a compliment. Because Detroit is just that horrendous in terms of run defense. You saw last week with Montgomery. You saw it last week, too, with Cordero Patterson. He could essentially be what Cordero Patterson was last week. You're talking, 13, 14 fantasy point output for a whole lot of, minimal dollars. So I think Jamal Williams is a very fascinating player, one of those second fiddles who could really pluck the strings today just based on the matchup alone.
My one issue with that is I played the passing side of that game. So Rodgers, Adams, Tunyon, boom. There's a stack for you. Bring it back with DeAndre Swift, and I'm off to the races. So I'm not playing any part of the Green Bay running game.
Well, and that's, pick your poison. That's the strategy you want to go with. Totally understand. And that's an entirely fair one because Devontae Adams has been so damn unstoppable. But it could be similar like with the Bears game last week against the Lions, right? Where I was huge on Trubisky. I was huge on Allen Robinson. They got off to a hot start, though Trubisky didn't find the end zone, but it was all Montgomery once they got inside the 20. And it was a running script narrative that panned out. That's the one downside you have with Detroit, and even with Aaron Rodgers, that if Rodgers and Adams, don't make beautiful music immediately on the field and it's more Aaron Jones or Jamal Williams, then that could drag down the overall output of that entire pass game because they can just run on Detroit all day long. So, it's a slight risk. It's still Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to continue throwing if they're up 30-0. So, odds are that you're going to cash on that. But I still like Jamal Williams finding the end zone today.
What is your take on Jalen Hurts and how this Philadelphia offense is going to look? Is it – the Saints D is good, so it's not an optimal matchup to begin with, and I think that can really – I feel like if they continue to go with Jalen Hurts, next week might be the week to play him.
Well, potentially. He's so cheap. What is he, like 5,700? He's under 6,000,
He's 5,100.
5,100. I know I have him in my lineup. I got a couple of lineups because I only do single entries on DraftKings. It's the best chance for me to win. But, on the $5,100 price point, I'm an enormous fan of that. And the reason why is this. The ownership levels are going to be extraordinarily low because people are going to be like, who is this guy? Completely untrustworthy. Now, if you follow college football, he is an extraordinary talent. A guy that was ballyhooed at Alabama, then transferred because of Tua to Oklahoma. He was an air raid scheme, granted, last year, and lit the world on fire. Ran for 1,200 yards, ran for 20 touchdowns, had a 12.2 air yards per attempt mark, was very accurate at all levels. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's especially dangerous and accurate on the move like we saw last week. Yeah, granted, it was garbage time against Green Bay. But that touchdown pass that he threw to Greg Ward was a thing of beauty. That's what he can do. I love him on his over, and this did not make the Fade 5, but I do like it. I like the over on the 39.5 rush yards at DraftKings Sportsbook. He's interesting. I think he's a better version of Taysom Hill, to be honest with you.
Who do you think scores
more, in terms of accuracy?
Well, who scores more fantasy points, Taysom Hill or Jalen Hurts? I just don't think Taysom Hill does.
I don't think Taysom Hill does. I think this is going to be a giant slice of humble pie for Taysom Hill this week, to be honest with you. This Philadelphia team you can't really run on particularly well. Can't really run on New Orleans either. I mean, they allowed the fewest fantasy points at the running back position. But I think Hurts is just a better overall thrower and a more accurate passer. You're going to see that front and center today. That's a really good wager. Actually, I think you can do that at DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm going to look that up here while you're going to be, talking here in a second, because you can do head-to-heads in some of these matchups and, same game, different names. So there's probably odds on Hurts versus Taysom Hill, and I'm going to be very curious what that is, because I would definitely take Jalen Hurts in that scenario.
All right, I'm going to side with Taysom Hill in this, but I like Taysom. If we're talking about a base, I get it at $5,100 for Jalen Hurts. That just with his rushing upside, everything else that he does is kind of a bonus at that price. I think the play in this game is just if you can get up to it. I'm never really a proponent of paying up for defense. If the Saints are only $3,800, there are pay down options this week that I like the Saints D here. It feels like a lot of sacks incoming.
Yeah. Okay. So just to give you a little bit of background, so they have player to throw most touchdowns in this game between Hurts and Hill. Hill's at minus 157, Hurts and plus 125. Oh, baby. Give me the plus odds on most touchdowns. They also have a showdown. Mayo on most rush yards between these two quarterbacks. Hill at minus 137, Hurts at plus 110. Let's do it. Double down on Hurts.
Plus money in both those situations actually do make a lot of sense because you're actually getting odds on it. If it was just straight up, I would pass on both.
Oh, yeah. If it's straight up, I pass all day long, but I get seduced by the juice, Mayo. Yeah, that 125 is calling me.
You don't want to get seduced by the juice. That's the problem.
Come on, baby. Come. I'm ready. Daddy's ready. Open up your fruit cage and I will be your honeybee.
If you have a question about Week 14, we're going to get to those at 10:35 a.m. Eastern Time and just try to pound through them all. The rankings are in the description if you want your question answered right now. And if you want us to go into bonus time on the question and answer period, hit the like button for the episode. If you subscribe to Mayo Media Network right now, that like counts as 2. And we'll be off to the races. We're trying to get to 20,000 subs, Brad, by the end of 2020. We've only been in operation for 3 months here, trying to get to that 20,000 subscriber mark. So anything that you can do to help would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, please do. Get Mayo there now because his kids need to eat. They're starving. Please get to that subscription. 20,000? Oh, we need to tack on another 0. We need 200K. Let's go. Let's go.
If this channel can get to 200,000 subs by like the next 3 weeks, you're never going to hear from me again. I'm just going to be raking in money. It's going to be great.
I expect you to buy all the cocaine then, Mayo.
Well, listen, man, I don't know what the price points are between America and Canada. I got exchanges to worry about here. And it feels like if I was in America, you'd be thrown in prison for like 8,000 years. It's probably not a good situation to be in.
Yeah, actually, that would definitely be the case. I mean, we could really roll the dice and just do that kind of exercise in Mexico and see what happens.
Listen, I'll just go to your state. I'll buy all the legal weed possible, and I'll just drop that off somewhere.
Well, and we may soon have legal hallucinogenic mushrooms. True story.
Are you serious?
True story.
Well, there you go.
Nearly passed in the last election.
Move to Colorado, apparently, if you just want to get fucked up.
And gamble.
Yeah, gamble, get fucked up, and go climb mountains. You'll be good to go. Hopefully, do they have 5G like when you're out hiking so you can make some live bets?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Yetis use the 5G up there in the mountains, and chances are you're going to run into one of those while you're on hallucinogenic mushrooms, while you're trying to put your bets in at DraftKings Sportsbook. And we'll see what happens. It'll be amazing.
Tight end is really tricky this week. And my initial inclination at the position when I talked through this with Raza on Thursday was pay up for Travis Kelce if you can afford it. If not, just use Logan Thomas. Those were my two options.
Yeah.
But now I've really come around on Cole Kmet. I know you talked about Jordan Akins. Feel like that's a trap. Jordan Akins is always a trap. Cole Kmet is really the one in this game. And when we get to the prop section a little bit later, I do have a Cole Kmet prop out there, which I'm really surprised about. Just how low it was. But I like him at $2,900.
Yeah, that's a good call. You just went at Admiral Akbar on me. It's a trap with Jordan Akins. Please don't curse him. I need him, Mayo. I picked him up in a 16-teamer, and I'm playing him at the tight end position. And I'm an underdog right now. I'm playing him ahead of Trey Burton, for example. Look, I do like Aiken. I think the call on Cole Kmet is excellent. Now, he's had a case of dropsies. That's the biggest issue with him. He's got some banana hands at times. But, the Bears have really been focused on trying to get him the ball inside the red zone. Jimmy Graham has fallen out of favor overall. I think Kmet's an excellent call there. Low dollar guy. I'm really curious to hear what your prop is on him. Is it a yardage prop or is it a TD prop?
It's a reception prop.
Ooh, that is sexy.
Yeah.
I actually have, you know what? I'm going to give you a bonus one right now. A reception prop at the tight end position. I know that has nothing to do with Cole Kmet, but I'm going to throw it out there. I love Cameron Brate's reception prop. It's 1.5 at DraftKings. And I don't know if nobody's really noticed because I haven't heard anybody talking about this. I'm sure you have. But the last 4 games, he's catching 3-4 balls every week. And he's getting like 30, 35 yards every week. So his receiving yards prop is 19.5. And again, the receptions prop is 1.5 right now in Cameron Brate. That's way too low. Way too low.
That's really interesting. There's one thing you need to know about him is that he's Brate. And then people get very upset when Gronk doesn't score touchdowns. Yeah, here we go. Targets 6, 4, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 in the past 4 games. Everyone's coming back for this one, though. How do you approach playing Brady daily fantasy-wise? Like, who can you put him with? I can't figure it out for the life of me.
Gronk is interesting because Hendricks is out for the Minnesota Vikings, and he's their best cover linebacker in those situations at the seam. So, Gronk could have a very nice game today, to be honest with you. I don't trust Antonio Brown. Seems like everybody's on the bandwagon with Brown. I don't really get it because Mike Evans is still back and Godwin is still there. I would lean slightly to Godwin if I'm picking one of the 3 wide receivers, but I don't feel good about it. I'm not going to go that route. I'd much rather have Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson on the other side, quite honestly, because we know the blueprint. It's out, right? We know how to beat Tampa, just throwing them early and often. And one of the most absurd props I've seen, and this one did make my Fade 5. I'm basically just going to show you my entire hand here now. Dalvin Cook, I don't know if you noticed this, 83.5 rush yards. Like, that is absurd.
Yeah,
how high that is.
Yeah, you and I went back. You and I do a props column every single week where I just comment on the 5 props that you like. I took the over in that.
Yeah, because you're crazy.
I'm not crazy. That's too easy. I guarantee you 99.9% of the money is on the under.
No, I guarantee you a lot of people aren't even touching that. But I'm taking the under, man. Sorry. You and I are going to agree to disagree. I mean, the high watermark this year, Christian McCaffrey on the ground against his Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, he only had 59 rush yards. Alvin Kamara didn't get close to that. Aaron Jones didn't get close to that. Now, granted, I know there's no Alexander Madison, and that's, a strong argument you can make. But I think Cook is going to do more damage in the pass game, working on the peripherals, getting away from Devin White, getting away from that defensive interior of Tampa Bay. He could have a very nice game in that capacity. I think he's going to find the end zone as a receiver today. But, running up the gut, you just can't do it. It's the damn Spanish Armada there in Tampa. So
I would tend to agree with you. I think the under is the very obvious play here, just based on logic alone. But I am not a logical person, Brad. So the way that I look at it, I agree with you that he is going to do damage in the receiving game. But it's a lot. The Tampa Bay run defense reminds me a lot of the Steelers run defense before they got really banged up. Is that if somehow you can get to the second level of their run defense and you can get to the linebackers and you can get to the safeties, you can probably, it so very rarely happens because the front four is so good at stopping the run, is that Dalvin Cook is good enough to break off 1 or 2 chunk plays here. And he's going to get there through it. Like, I don't really see a scenario where he gets fewer than, let's say, 18 carries in this game. So if he can bring off 2 chunk runs, when I talk about chunk runs, like 14 yards and 19 yards, that's all he really needs. Then he needs to average 3 yards a carry after that, and he's there.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's logical. It's just a matter of not whether you believe he is going to get those chunk gains. You're a believer, you're a subscriber, and I'm an naysayer. So I don't think he's going to be able to get there. Chunk gains will be in the pass game. That's my not so bold prediction.
Well, you actually bet the under. I didn't bet the over on it, so I hope you win.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're all in this ship together. Let's go.
Yeah. Just because I have to make a pick for a column doesn't mean I'm betting that. I got my own bets that I'm worried about over here.
Yeah.
And I find the worst possible players to bet on.
I've got some really hideous ones, too, that I need to shower about because I don't feel particularly good about them. But Mayo, I don't know if you've seen this. It's become kind of a thing on social media, and I don't even know what I did with it now. Here they are. I've got chicken scratch selections. So I'm old school. People are like, why can't you put this in a spreadsheet so I can read it? Because I actually like to write shit down, people. That's how I roll because I remember this stuff.
No, because you're it's because you're like 95 years old.
That's right. Serious. Well, I'm basically Benjamin Button. So I'm actually regressing right now in age. That's why I look so young, despite my, octogenarian profile on my driver's license. But these are all my bets. Literally, these are all of the wagers that I have made for this week. So I've got a lot of action. Feeling pretty good about it. And a lot of these are just dumb. But
do you feel like you spread yourself out too much with these?
No, okay. I don't. I'm up 19 units right now on the season because we track all this stuff at FTN Bets. I got brutalized on last Monday. I had 2 units lost in those 2 games, or 10 units lost, combined in those 2 games. Then I roared back on Tuesday. Thursday was awesome because I was over on everything Cam Akers available. And those all cashed. Now it's time to squander away more cash with the approximately 15 wagers that I've already made.
Well, I made my biggest bet of the year on Thursday evening. I super locked in the St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams -5 against the Patriots. So I got some money to play with this weekend, so I feel pretty good about that.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop this in. I tried to find that Cameron Brate prop where I can legally bet it. Obviously, DraftKings Sportsbook not available in my region up north, although very soon it sounds like that's going to happen. So I'm excited for that.
Oh, is it really? Well, I saw that they the government up there, the Parliament, the good Canadian folks, who, by the way, have done it right with the vaccine. Credit to your Prime Minister. I need to go to Canada. But you guys, you're going to have legalized single game action, right?
Yeah, so the way that it's worked here for years is that online sports betting has not been illegal. It just hasn't been legal. So all of these European operators just operate in Canada regardless. It's never really been a problem. But now it might because they're actually enforcing regulations, which will allow the American sportsbooks, which are legal, to come up and really take over the market up here. So I'm excited for that. So I don't have access to any of these Cameron Brate props on the sites that I actually have access to. So I just dumped into the live chat right now, ftnbets.com/prop shop. You can find that at ftnbets.com, and I'm looking at it right now. So basically what you do is you type in the player that you want. It's a completely free to use, and it brings you up all of the props from all of the sites on that player. There's some good looking ones here. Yeah, DraftKings Sportsbook over 1.5 catches for Cameron Brate. 1.5. 1.5. I like that over. You can go over 19.5 yards, like you said, -111. That's not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, the receptions are juiced up to high heaven, though.
You know what? Sometimes I know it's more juice, and it's significantly more juice in this case. I feel like that's the better bet, though.
It is, but you can also parlay. Now, you can't have a same game parlay on player props at DraftKings. But so what I did to reduce the juice on Cameron Brate, and I went with something else that I feel very confident on. It's one you're probably not going to wager on. I took the over Jordan Akins 2.5 receptions. So I've got that paired on a 2-legger with a Cameron Brate at 1.5 receptions, and I think it's like plus 105 or 110 for those to hit. So I feel pretty good about that.
All right, I got some parlays for you. Let me hear your fade 5 for the week props.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to my favorite wager, because we're going to talk about it right now, because this is the dumbest line I've ever seen. You ready? Here we go.
Let's hear it.
Jonathan Taylor, 15.5 receiving yards. Say what? That doesn't make any damn sense. Last 3 games, he's had at least 24 receiving yards in each of those contests. He is the lion's share back in this backfield. Make no mistake about it. And you get the Las Vegas Raiders, who are giving a close to 6 receptions per game and over 40 yards per game through the air to the running back position. Hammered the living daylights out of that one. Of course, mandatory Montgomery's going to score, Mayo. It's going to be another multi-TD game, just like it was last week, this time against the boot kickers of the Houston Texans. It's plus 105 for him on an anytime touchdown DraftKings Sportsbook. There's a Dalvin Cook under 83.5 rush yards. Mayo saying, oh, yeah, I'd take the over on that, but Cowardly would probably side with me on the under. Ronald Jones, here's a dumb one for you, Pat. 7.5 receiving yards. That's it. Now, will Bruce Arians and his coach speak? Well, we got to get the ball to him 20 times. Actually adhere to that. Who knows? But I think, this is one catch. And the last time he got one catch, it went for 30 plus and a touchdown. I think he'll have at least a couple of catches a day, hit double figures in terms of yardage, and smash that over on the 7.5. And then I talked about it before. Jamal Williams, I think I said 23.5. I actually got a 24.5 rush yards on him. Low-hanging fruit, easy money in my estimation there for him on 10 to 12 touches. Remember, he had 8 for 63 in the first matchup against the Lions earlier this season. So I think Jamal Williams could have himself a nice week. So there you go, America and Canada. My fade 5 for week 14.
All right, I got 6 props for you this week.
Ooh,
I did some dumpster diving.
That's bold
here.
for you.
I know. Like I said, I got the extra money to play with, so I feel the need to donate it all back. So here are mine. Drew Sample over 2.5 receptions.
Oh my God, I would not have guessed that. Okay, all right. Continue. You have me intrigued.
All right, DeAndre Washington over 17.5 receiving yards.
Okay, I like that one quite a bit. I did not see that prop earlier. I'm going to pull that one up on DraftKings, and hopefully they have it. But yeah, I would take the over there too.
Cole Kmet over 2.5 receptions.
Yep, totally get on board.
Minus
the Bears
one,
featuring more and more.
What
is it?
Minus 110 as well.
Oh, so standard juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hell yeah. I mean, look, you could throw an anytime TD in there if your book allows you to do same game parlays.
Danny Amendola over 2.5 receptions.
Oh my God. You are dumpster diving, you just filthy foul-mouthed beast. I love you for this.
We haven't got to the depths of it yet, Brad. So those are 4.
Really? It gets lower than Danny Amendola?
Yeah. So
and Drew Sample?
You can you can parlay those together. That's 9.5 to 1. So here are 2 more to add on to boost up a parlay to 31 to 1 if you really want it. Larry Fitzgerald returning this week over 2.5 receptions. I like that.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm ready for this one. This is the scummiest one of the week. This number has hit in 7 straight games, so obviously it will not this time around. In the Sunday evening game, Ray McLeod over 3.5 receiving yards.
Oh yeah, lock of the century, North America. I'm with you on Ray McLeod. That's a good one. It was 7.5 the last time I saw Ray on DraftKings. So that is certainly doable and in play. I think that's an excellent call. I like that one quite a bit.
I just saw the 3.5. I was like, it's 7 straight games. It's a revenge game against the Bills too, so we're good to go.
Oh my God, it's a revenge game narrative. Yes, I totally. Just like DeAndre Washington is a revenge game.
That's true for a team I don't think he actually ever played for.
No, revenge. You cut me, you sons of bitches. I'm gonna roll up 18 receiving yards on you, so Pat Mayo can cash.
I would enjoy that. I think that's a big one over at FTNBets.com right now too. It seems like everyone's on that one. Never a good sign.
Well, maybe I shouldn't join then because I don't want to go down with the Titanic.
Well, all the guys up there, the premium bets guys are all like plus 80 units. Not like me. I'm like minus 100. So you're probably best off agreeing with those guys and not me on some of these just awful props. What do you got going on later today? Noon Eastern, AMA?
Yeah, we're going to do the noon Eastern AMA exclusive for FTN Fantasy subscribers. Use that promo code MAYO, MAYO, if you can't spell very simple things. If you can't do that, you might want to go back to elementary school. But you still get you get 10% off of that as well. And that is good through the Super Bowl. So you get access. It's kind of like a litmus test. If you want just like an appetizer, if you haven't, joined the site already, this is a great way to give it a test drive to see if you want to join full time. And I think you're going to love all the amazing tools that we have. We have over 50 in total. The access to guys like me, Mayo's content, my content, Jeff Ratcliffe's content, LA Chris, Kevin Adams. We got so many excellent guys in terms of sharps, in terms of fantasy voices, daily voices, all that stuff. But FTN Fantasy, just to get access to FTN Fantasy and my AMA, can use that promo code Mayo. It's just $20 the rest of the season from now through the Super Bowl. And of course, that's 20 American, folks, not whatever the equivalency in Canada is.
That would be around 25.40.
All right, so like 25.40. What are you guys using? Are you still using the loonies?
Yeah, you pay with a bunch of loonies or toonies if you want to.
It's cheap. That's all I need to know. It's cheap. And we're supporting people in the Great White North and putting food on the table. Not only the wonderful Pat Mayo, but also Chris Meany, who's a fellow Canadian, who's a part of our staff.
This is true. Very, very sneaky Canadians out there contributing to the fantasy space. So I want to thank you for being on the line, Mr. Evans. Again, you can check him out at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, full AMA at ftnfantasy.com. And I'm doing the call for questions right now. So if you've previously left in your question in the chat, it's not going to get answered because we're starting right now as it goes down to it. If you smash the like button and we get to 500 likes, we'll go an extra 5 minutes. We get to 1,000 likes, we will go an extra 15 minutes. If you answer someone else's question from henceforth, you're banned for life. You ask about Mark Ingram, you're banned for life. There's other rules too. You should know them by now. It's week 14. But, this might be the last live of the year. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. So I might be doing a lot of banning for life today. I'm going to take out my earpiece. And I do want to tell you that if you are interested in playing fantasy basketball this year, whether it be NBA or college basketball, if you go to ftndaily.com right now, this is a weird way to do a read, but there we go. Get that out of my ear. You can get the early bird special. The price is going up on Monday. So if you actually are considering getting the FTN Daily NBA package, it has everything in it, as Brad talked about, all of the different tools, all the different picks, the live Discord chats, everything like that. You probably want to do it right now. And I have the link. You can find it on my Facebook page. That's Facebook/PME, or up on my Twitter account right now. Even if you just click the link in the description where it just says ftndaily.com football, that will bring you right to the basketball page right now, because I believe that is the featured promotion over there. They've already been killing it so far in the preseason, so I can't imagine what they have in store for actual NBA once that comes around. Let's get to your questions. Taysom Hill or Cousins? I'm going with Taysom Hill. Duke Johnson or DeAndre Washington? I'll stick with Duke Johnson. Need one wide receiver and one flex from Calvin Ridley, Robbie Anderson, Scorin McLaurin, Aaron Jones, and James Robinson. Let's go with Calvin Ridley and James Robinson this week. I'm going to scroll back up to the questions here. Danny Amendola or DeAndre Washington? I'll go with DeAndre Washington there. Mike Davis or James Conner? I will go with Mike Davis. Also, Kiki or Sterling Shepard? Let's take Keek da Sneak. This person is answering other people's questions. He's banned for life. Robbie Anderson, Terry McLaurin, or A.J. Brown this week? I like Robbie Anderson with no DJ Moore playing. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, T.Y. Hilton, or Jamison Crowder? Let's go with T.Y. Yeah, let's go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I just don't know if Crowder's going to play or not. Yes, Paul.
That was my question. Is Crowder even going to play?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know as of yet. He didn't practice on Friday. He's questionable. Hold out on those Berrios. If somehow you hear that Jamison Crowder is inactive, immediately go to your sportsbook and bet the over on Braxton Berrios' 3.5 receptions. Now, if Crowder plays, he's going to go under that number. But if he doesn't play, he's definitely going to go over that number. So keep that in mind. I'm going to go with T.Y. Hilton in this game. The Raiders are banged up in the secondary. Second question, Mark Andrews or Robert Tonyan? Stick with Andrews. Pick 2, Mike Davis, Dobbins, Miles Sanders, Cutie, and Crowder. Mike Davis and Kiki Cutie. Chris Godwin or Robbie Anderson? Robbie Anderson. Play 2, Stafford, Trubisky, and Bridgewater. Let's go Stafford and Trubisky. Mike Davis, Jonathan Taylor, James Conner, Tim Patrick. Start 2. Let's go with Connor. Let's go with Davis and Jonathan Taylor. Drafted Julio Jones and Kenny Golladay. Screw me all year. I don't need your fucking backstory, man. What the fuck's your question? Need 2. DJ Chark, Brandon Ayuk, Brashad Perriman, and Tim Patrick. Let's go with Ayuk and DJ Chark in this matchup. Pick 2. Mike Davis, James Robinson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Swift, and Hunt. Go with Swift and James Robinson. Bernard or Swift? Swift. I have depth. Okay. Gurley, Boyd, and Golladay, oh my God, are on my bench. Should I drop them for the playoffs for a weekly streamer? This is a start sit. Just take your fucking gigantic questions. I do a Friday show where I specifically ask for these type of questions to be locked in. This is not something for a Sunday morning. Beasley, Dobbins, or Chark? Beasley. That's a good question. Example of a good question, that question. Make it easy here. Matt Ryan, Rivers, or Jalen Hurts? Matt Ryan. Pick 3, Kiki, T. Higgins, T.Y., Duke Johnson, Gio Bernard, and DeAndre Washington. Let's go with Kiki, Higgins, and since I'm playing the other 2 guys, receivers from that game, let's go with DeAndre Washington. I have Duke, Gio, and DeAndre all very close. Parker, Shepard, Pittman need max upside. Max upside is probably, I really don't have a good feel for Tua and what he's up to. It's probably Sterling Shepard with Daniel Jones back. Packers D or Colts D? Let's go with the Colts D in this matchup. Debo, Curtis Samuel, and Ayuk need 2. Let's go with Curtis Samuel and Debo, the first 2. Taysom Hill or Kyler Murray? Taysom Hill. Sam Darnold, Alex Smith, Mike Glennon, Derek Carr. Good God. Mike Glennon. Pick 3, half point. Gallman, Zeke, Swift, Taylor, Dobbins, Gio. Swift, Taylor, Zeke. Lamar Jackson or Justin Herbert? Justin Herbert. Mike Davis, Chris Carson, DeAndre Washington, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Sit 1, sit Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Start Robbie Anderson or Scorin McLaurin. Robbie Anderson. Debo or DeAndre Hopkins or Kiki. You're going to have to keep rolling DeAndre Hopkins out there. It is actually, I guess if Bradbury shuts him down, I'm still going to take the talent, and maybe Kyler's a little bit more healthy this week. T.Y. or Kiki. Kiki. Cole Beasley or DeAndre Washington. I'll go with DeAndre Washington. Roll the dice there, although I do like Cole Beasley this week. Jonathan Taylor or Edwards-Helaire. Jonathan Taylor. Okay, so about Taysom Hill, you can put him at tight end and start Cousins. That's not a question. You're banned for life. Mostert, Bernard, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Let's go with Mostert. Debo, Dobbins, or Clyde? Debo. Need help. Okay, I'm assuming that's why you're here. I picked up DeAndre Washington when Gaskin went down. So do I start DeAndre Washington or dare bring up Miles Sanders up off the bench? I think you still go with Miles Sanders. I think that a running quarterback option in the Philly backfield should open up some lanes. If you want to play it safe, as sick as this sounds, it's probably DeAndre Washington. But I think max upside, you're looking at Miles Sanders. Sit McLaurin, Godwin, Diggs for Jonathan Taylor. You can sit Godwin, I guess, for him, and just hope that the roulette ball doesn't land on Chris Godwin this week. DeAndre Washington or Cutie, half point Cutie. Gio or DeAndre Washington? Gio. T. Higgins, Chase Claypool, or J.D. McKissick in standard? Chase Claypool. Thielen or Michael Thomas? I like Michael Thomas here. Todd Gurley or Gio Bernard? Gio Bernard. Bears, Casey, Tampa, San Francisco defense. I like San Francisco defense this week. Logan Thomas, Chenault, or Aguilar? Pick one. Logan Thomas. DeAndre Swift or Terry McLaurin? DeAndre Swift. I'm rolling the dice there. Michael Pittman or Curtis Samuel? Let's go with Curtis Samuel. Devontae Adams or Keenan Allen on a DraftKings single team. I like Devontae Adams. He's my favorite play on the slate. He's in every single one of my lineups, which should tell you, since I'm a loser on DraftKings, you should probably go the other way. But I love Devontae Adams here, even at that price point. Clyde, Gio, Naheem Hines, or T. Higgins. Let's go with Gio Bernard. Pick 2. Naheem Hines, Miles Sanders, or Duke Johnson. Let's go with Duke and Miles Sanders. Bench 1. Eckler, Kamara, Carson, Swift. I'm going to bench Kamara. Dobbins, Sanders, Mostert. Pick 1, Mostert. Pick 2, Chark, Boyd, or Sterling Shepard. Chark and Sterling Shepard. Good morning, Pat. Good morning, Steve K. Kyler Murray or Big Ben? I'm going to go with Big Ben. Connor, Landry, or Higgins? I'm going to go with James Conner in that game. This person continues to answer people's questions in the chat, which is bannable offense, so you're banned for life. Remember, once again, smash the like button. We're nowhere near the 500 likes we need to go into overtime. Only 12 minutes remaining in the question and answer period. Once again, this is probably the last live of the year. Friday injury report show. I take full questions in the comment section of that show and get back to everyone by Sunday morning. It's a guaranteed question answered if you get it in by midnight on Saturday. The best way to get your question answered is to dump it into that show. A lot of people do it. More should do it because it's a crapshoot when it comes on Sunday because everyone's just jamming in their questions at the moment. And remember to subscribe to Mayo Media Network, the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 20,000 subs by the end of the year. We're almost there. We need your help to get there, though. Smash the like and sub to the channel, all right? Brandon Ayuk or Pittman Ayuk? Russell Gage or Claypool? Claypool. Pat, good luck this weekend. Good luck to you, sir. Need each of a running back, tight end, and flex. Drake, Ronald Jones, J.D. McKissick, Ty Johnson, Mike Gesicki, Logan Thomas, T.Y. Hilton, Christian Kirk. So for running back, we're going to play J.D. McKissick. We'll go with Ronald Jones in the flex, and we'll go with Logan Thomas. You know what? Nah, I don't want to play Logan Thomas and J.D. McKissick. So let's go with Kenyon Drake, Logan Thomas, and Ronald Jones, actually. Parker or pick up DeAndre Washington? You probably just roll with Parker. With all could you play Bears D against the Texans or stick with the Panthers versus the Broncos? I like the Panthers versus the Broncos still. The Bears have a very, very bad pressure rate. Cousins or Ryan? I like Ryan. Lockett or McLaurin? Let's go with McLaurin. Goddard, Ertz, or Hurst? Hurst. Trust Jacobs or Curtis Samuel or Kiki or Jordan Akins? I would play Kiki in that matchup. J.D. McKissick, Peyton Barber, or Le'Veon Bell? J.D. McKissick. T. Higgins, Jamison Crowder, Hollywood Brown? I would go with T. Higgins. Pick between Hayden Hurst or Dalton Schultz? Hayden Hurst. Thanks for getting me to the playoffs. No problem. Don't tell me to give my head a shake, bud. You give your head a shake, pal. That's how we're going to play this one. Clyde, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Davis, Gio Bernard, play 3, sit 1, sit Clyde. Antonio Brown, T. Higgins, or Chad Hansen? I'm still going to go with T. Higgins, even though he's banged up, but he's playing. T. Higgins or Antonio Brown? T. Higgins. Devontae Parker, Curtis Samuel, or MVS? Need big points. I would play Curtis Samuel. Dobbins or Clyde? Clyde. My co-manager wants to start Cousins over Herbert. That sounds stupid. Play Herbert. Gio, Washington, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Evans need 3. I'm starting the 3 running backs there. I just don't trust anyone. I know that someone is going to score points on Tampa Bay in the receiving game. But as Brad mentioned, like Cameron Brate's even getting involved at this point. I think Gronk and then Godwin be my 2 most trusted, then Evans. But sometimes Evans just scores a touchdown and doesn't do anything else. If he doesn't score the touchdown, he's kind of useless. So it's a high upside, low floor type of play. So I'll take the other 3, who I do think have very good floors this week. For flex, Godwin, Hines, Robbie Anderson, Gio Bernard. Robbie Anderson. Pick 3, Crowder, Hilton, Cutie, Beasley, Connor. Cutie, Beasley, Connor. Debo or Mike Williams? Debo. Kyler Murray, Tom Brady, or Kirk Cousins? Tom Brady. Sit 2, Debo, Parker, Hilton, Marvin Jones, Chark. Sit Parker and Hilton. Josh Allen or Justin Herbert? I like Josh Allen. Swift or Connor? I like Swift. DeAndre Washington, Jamal Williams, or Mostert? Mostert. Good morning, Patrice. With an accent aigu instead of an accent grave at the end of Patrice. Do I play Jamal Williams or Eric Ebron? Play Jamal Williams. Gio or Josh Jacobs? Gio. Taysom or Kyler? Taysom. DeAndre Washington or Cutie? Cutie. Swift or Clyde? Swift. Gio, Debo, or Tyler Boyd? Debo. Cole Kmet or Jordan Reed? Cole Kmet. Beasley or Barber? Beasley. Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Washington, or Clyde? Pick 2, Hunt and DeAndre Washington. DeAndre, Sterling Shepard, or Tyler Boyd? Sterling Shepard. Jacobs or Sterling Shepard? Sterling Shepard. Please sit 1. Brandon Ayuk, Duke Johnson, Michael Pittman, full point PPR. Here I would sit Michael Pittman. 800 people and less than 200 likes. What the fuck? I agree with you. Continue to smash that like button, but it's fewer, not less. Just a reminder. Pick 1, half-point PPR. Score McLaurin, Debo Samuel, or T.Y. Hilton. Let's go with McLaurin. T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Tim Patrick, Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard. Sit 1 in PPR. Clyde, Mike Davis, or Sanders? Clyde. Robbie Anderson or McLaurin? Robbie Anderson. Jonathan Taylor or Kamara? Jonathan Taylor. Herbert or Lamar Jackson? Herbert. This guy just says pick 2. Okay. You might want to give me some players along with that. You know that if you ask a question and then put in what you want after, there's like 80 questions in between. A lot of people are asking questions right now. Give your fucking head a shake, pal. Higgins or Cole Beasley? Cole Beasley. Todd Gurley or DeAndre Washington? DeAndre Washington. Ayuk, Sanders, or Gage in the flex? Ayuk. Higgins or Beasley? Still going to roll with T. Higgins. A.J. Brown, Michael Thomas, Stefan Diggs, pick 2. Michael Thomas and Stefan Diggs. Chase Edmonds, Antonio Brad, or Chad Hansen, Antonio Brown. Pick 2. Running backs and a wide receiver. Dobbins, Hunt, Bernard, Sanders, Claypool, Ayuk. All right. Gio, Claypool, and Sanders. Clyde or Debo? Debo. Clyde or DeAndre Washington? DeAndre Washington. Pick 2. Josh Jacobs. Chase Edmonds, Ty Johnson, Frank Gore, DeAndre Washington. Let's go with Jacobs and DeAndre Washington, the former teammates of the Raiders back when they were in Oakland. DeAndre Washington or Michael Pittman, and go with Washington. Taysom or Cousins? Taysom. Higgins or Beasley? Higgins. Lockett or McLaurin? McLaurin. Bridgewater, Brady or Cousins? Brady. Sit Josh Allen for Herbert? Nah, Josh Allen. Amari Cooper or Terry McLaurin? Terry McLaurin. Pick 2. Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Washington, J.K. Bobbins, who isn't a real person, so we're not going to pick him. Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Washington. Start 2. Clyde, Davis, Debo, Marvin Jones Jr., Mike Davis, and Debo. Pick 3. Crowder, Hilton, Cutie, Beasley, Connor. Already did that one. Same question asked twice. Banned for life. Antonio Brown or Jamal Williams? Antonio Brown. Michael Thomas, A.J. Brown, Stephen Diggs. You asked that question just like 2 seconds ago. You're banned for life. How dare you? How dare you? Matt Stafford or Big Ben? Let's go with Matt Stafford. Lamar or Taysom Hill? Taysom Hill. Pick 2. Jonathan Taylor, Mike Davis, Wayne Gallman. I am going to go with Jonathan Taylor and Wayne Gallman. Gurley or DeAndre Washington? DeAndre Washington. Gallman or McKissick? Gallman. Davis, Dobbins, Swift. Pick 2. Sit Dobbins. Gurley or Gio? Gio. David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs. Pick 2. David Montgomery and Miles Sanders. Lockett or Jefferson? Jefferson. Keenan, Deontay Johnson, Antonio Brown, or Boyd? Really? That's your question? You're not going to play Keenan Allen? Play Keenan Allen. Taysom Hill or Lamar Jackson? Taysom Hill. Higgins or Beasley? Higgins. Pick 2. Already did that one. You people are asking your questions. You're repeating them. You're all getting banned for life. That's what's happening here. Brady or Allen? Allen. Gesicki or Schultz? Gesicki. Choose 3. Beasley, Judy, Mooney, Higgins, or Hines? Beasley, Higgins, Mooney. Pick 2. Michael Thomas, Mike Evans, or Claypool? Claypool and Thomas. Pick 3. Already did that one. Banned for life. Tough break for you, Shane. Quit asking the same fucking question, pal. Panthers or Niners? Niners D. Hunt or Washington? Washington. Higgins or Beasley? Half point. It's the most common question. This is all from different people. Higgins, I do like. It's going to kill me when Beasley outscores him. Pick 2. J.D. McKissick, non-PPR. Duke Johnson, Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard might be on this snap count, so let's go with J.D. and let's go with Duke. Flex, Connor, Higgins, or Landry? Connor. Cardinals D or 49ers D? 49ers D. Sanders or Kareem Hunt? Sanders. Amari Cooper or Terry McLaurin? Terry McLaurin. Lamar or Tannehill? Tannehill. Deontay Johnson or McLaurin? Let's go with McLaurin. AB, TY, or Clyde? Ugh. TY. Amari, CeeDee Lamb, Debo, or Ayuk? I like Debo. Full point. Sanders or DeAndre Washington? Let's just go with DeAndre Washington. If you picked up DeAndre Washington, you want to play DeAndre Washington. Let's go for it. Pittman or DeAndre? DeAndre. Duke Johnson, Cutie, Higgins, Samuel, or Pittman? Pick 2. Cutie and Higgins. This guy keeps asking the same question. He is currently banned for life. What else do we got here? Taysom or Tannehill? Taysom. Jacobs or James Conner? James Conner. Akins or Goddard? Goddard. Watson or Tannehill? Watson. Drake or Beasley? Let's go with the Bees. Pick 2. Debo, Parker, Hilton, Crowder. Again, we don't know if Crowder's playing or not, so let's not play him. Parker and Debo. Antonio Brown, Mostert, Cutie, Mike Williams, Crowder, if active. Again, we're probably not going to... Actually, all these guys are from the late game, so we would know that. Still, I like Mostert and Kiki Cutie in this matchup. Pick 2, from the pick 2. Duke Johnson, Dobbins, Jakeem Grant. Duke Johnson. Lockett or McLaurin? McLaurin. Lockett, McLaurin, or Josh Jacobs? McLaurin. Pick 1, half-point PPR. Debo, T.Y., or McLaurin? McLaurin. Fant or Schultz? Fant. Chark or T.Y.? Chark. 49ers D or Panthers D? 49ers D. Half-point, final flex spot. Samuel, Kiki, Akins, or Jacobs? Let's go with Kiki QT. Hines or DeAndre Washington? Standard. DeAndre Washington. Gio or Gurley? Gio. We have 2 minutes left to get to the 500 likes, which it doesn't seem like we are going to get to today. Thanks for nothing, pals. No overtime today. So I'm just going to run through the rest of these questions here in the minute and a half we have remaining. Again, the rankings are in the description if you just want to go check those out if you have single player questions. Pick 1, CeeDee Lamb, Debo Samuel, Gio Bernard, or J.D. McKissick, Debo Samuel. T.Y. or DeAndre Washington? DeAndre Washington. Tower Lockett or Deontay Johnson? Deontay Johnson. Mike Davis, Jonathan Taylor, Gallman. Sit 1, Gallman. All very close in the rankings. Niners D or Ravens D? Niners D. Cook, Eckler, Montgomery, Chubb. Pick 3. Cook, Eckler, Montgomery. 1, 2, 3. Pick 2. Clyde, Duke, DeAndre, or Gio. Let's go with Duke and Gio. Melvin Gordon or Gio. Melvin Gordon. DeAndre or Todd Gurley? DeAndre. Marvin Jones, Curtis Samuel, Kiki, or Mike Williams? Kiki. Fant or Hurst? Fant. Pick 2, McLaurin, Higgins, Cutie, Hollywood Brown, McLaurin, and Kiki. Watkins, Antonio Brown, Marquise Brown, Marquise Brown. Akins or Goddard? I already asked that question. Melvin Gordon or Allen Robinson? Allen Robinson. Swift or Ronald Jones? Swift. Hunt or McKissick and half point? McKissick. Taysom Hill or Lamar Jackson? Taysom Hill. Kiki or Gio Bernard? Kiki. Ravens or Cardinals? Cardinals D. Tannehill or Deshaun Watson? Deshaun Watson. Ravens or Niners? Niners. Ayuk or Pittman? Ayuk. Debo, Mostert, Boyd, Debo. Allen Robinson or McLaurin? Allen Robinson. Ravens or Cardinals? Cardinals. We are at the 11-minute mark. We did not get to the 500 likes. You still have a question that is remaining out there. I'll give you 1 minute and 30 seconds to get to the 500 likes. If not, we are done here, all right? Pick 2, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre, J.K. Dobbins. Jacobs and DeAndre Washington. Stop asking your fucking questions twice. Philip Lindsay or Miles Sanders? Miles Sanders. Pick 2, Debo, Drake, Clyde, Drake, and Debo. Rojo, Curtis Samuel, or Kiki? Kiki. Melvin Gordon or T.Y.? Melvin Gordon. Corey Davis or T. Higgins? Corey Davis. Taysom or Stafford? Taysom. Murray or Hill? Hill. Dobbins or Mostert? Mostert. Hunt or Washington? Washington. Mayfield or Herbert? Herbert. What is it, Paul? You having a laugh?
It's probably something that's going to get somebody banned for life. He goes, pick one, these nuts or these nuts. I don't know. I'm very
You can just ban him for life. All right.
Nah.
Swift or Gallman? Swift. Hunt or Washington? Washington. Williams or Chark? That's Mike Williams. Chark. Pick 2, Chark, Dobbins, Melvin Gordon. Chark and Melvin Gordon. Boyd, Chark, or Curtis Samuel? Curtis Samuel. 49ers or Colts? 49ers. Juju, Marvin Jones, or McKissick? McKissick. Jacobs or Duke? Duke. Davis or Robbie Anderson? Davis. Actually, you know what? Robbie Anderson. Mostert or Sanders? Mostert. AP or Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams. Gordon or Washington? Gordon. Davis, Lockett, or Mostert? Pick 2, Davis and Lockett. Hunt or Beasley? Beasley. Geo or Washington? Geo. Drake or Washington? Drake. Debo, Beasley, Gallman? Play Gallman. Gallman, Chark, Debo. For the flex, I like Gallman, Taysom, or Stafford. Taysom, Boyd, Claypool, or Higgins. Higgins. Deshaun or Taysom Hill? Deshaun. Elliott or Sanders? Zeke. Stafford, Trubisky, or Bridgewater. Got to play 2 of them. Let's play Trubisky and Stafford. Deontay, Calvin Ridley, or McLaurin. Pick 2. McLaurin and Calvin Ridley. Debo, Chark, Pittman, or Gallman. Debo. Jacobs or Geo? Geo. Bears D, Titans D, Bears D. Hilton, Cutie, or Kamara? Kamara. Pick 1, Higgins, Mike Davis, or J.K. Dobbins? Mike Davis. AP or Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams. Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck? Fuck you, you're banned for life. And that's where we're going to end it because we didn't get to the likes and someone asked a stupid question, so I am out of here. If you can find that guy online, you should harass him. That's what I'm saying. What I'm actually saying is subscribe to Mayo Media Network. We're trying to get to the push to 20,000 subs so we can continue to do things like bring you live chats. If you just got in now, you came at the end of the show. I'm sorry. This is when we're wrapping it up. If you want your question answered, again, the Friday evening show, you have all night Friday, all day Saturday, all evening Saturday to get your question in. Guaranteed response. If not, the rankings are in the description right now. Smash a like and sub on the way out. And if you want the optimizer, the projections, and the ownership projections, ftndaily.com, code Mayo. Highly discounted. Mayo will get you an extra discount if you want to get a leg up on DraftKings this week. Plus, it goes through the playoffs too. All right. Good luck in your fantasy playoffs. Good luck with your bets. Good luck on DraftKings in Week 14. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.